Welcome to the Sunny Hirsch Election Special. I'm your host, Avi Myers. Ordinarily, you'll see me on the Northtown News Magazine, but in this particular case, we filled up all our pre-election shows. We want to make sure we present all the candidates to you. And and let me remind you also that Jewish Chicago, by the time you're seeing this on TV, is already on the street. You can pick it up at numerous locations everywhere. There's a ton of copies being mailed out and delivered to people's houses, but it'll be available in any place of Jewish interest, any place that sells corned beef, gefilte fish, you name it. Not to mention just regular supermarkets and delis and places like that. Or go to aviworld.com to be able to read it on the web, as an increasing number of you do. Thank you very much for your participation. It is a pleasure to introduce you to the Republican candidate for state representative in the 15th District, Jonathan Edelman. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm absolutely pleased to be here.
Pleasure to meet you. So, where is the 15th District?
Well, the 15th District actually traverses part of the city, the 39th Ward, part of the 41st, part of the 33rd, up through Lincolnwood, part of Skokie, Niles, Glenview, Morton Grove. So it sort of cants northwest from the northwest wards of the city.
So very good. And it's certainly a very interesting area and a diverse area.
It is. It's like many other areas. The only thing that distinguishes my district from some others that are more in the city is that it has a bit more of a suburban feel, even though part of it is in the city.
No, that sounds pretty accurate. Why did you decide to run, and what are the things you stand for and believe in?
Well, the reason I decided to run, Avi, is that I'm sick of yelling at the television. I'm one of those.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and it's not sports; it's news for me. I read the news all the time. I see how terrible and how dire the financial situation is in the state of Illinois, and I actually did a little bit of homework. I called the most recent Republican nominee who ran against the incumbent, and I just asked him, I said, "Are you going to run?" Because if he were to run again, I probably would not have.
Yeah.
But he said that it was not in his plans. So I could not bear the thought of somebody who was incredibly instrumental in causing our state's financial problems as a reliable vote for Michael Madigan running unopposed. So I ran.
Excellent, because I am not a fan of your opponent in the least, to put it mildly, and I got very involved in we really have never talked before today.
Correct.
But the whole eminent domain business with Northeastern University,
yeah.
And he championing in the legislature the stealing of private property. Now, it's one thing if you're going to build a military base or need it for a school or something like that, then I understand eminent domain. But this guy is seizing businesses that have been there up to 60 years on Foster Avenue and on Bryn Mawr for a private development. And frankly, even though the Supreme Court says it's okay, it's not okay. It's stealing. It's not nice. It shouldn't be done.
I agree. It certainly didn't win him any friends in that area of the district. It didn't win him friends last time. I think those people probably have very long memories. I don't think it's going to win him any friends even still. But as bad as that is, the thing that animates me the most is the state budget. There is simply no excuse for any voters to send back somebody for the 7th term, for his 13th year, when during the previous 12 years he has participated in bankrupting our state. I cannot fathom that anyone would do that, frankly, no matter what party they belong to.
And he's in a very active role in doing it.
A very active role. He's been a very dependable vote for the speaker, and I think that is, and it's not to say John hasn't done some good things, but I think, as I said, my animating force is the budget, and that is why I'm running.
No, very good. I think those are good reasons to run. And frankly, so do you have a specific plan, or, Should the government be on a balanced budget, or?
Well, so I do have a specific plan, and the answer to your question is yes, it should be. But that's actually not the first thing that we have to do. The very first thing we have to do is we have to follow a roadmap, because unless you follow this roadmap that I have come up with, none of it will make a difference. The first thing that you have to do is you have to get rid of what I call political royalty. You've got to end gerrymandering. You've got to impose or simply volunteer for term limits. Those are two very big things that have to be done. You have to have new players, because it is folly to expect change with the same people who have brought us to our knees at this point. Once you have gotten rid of the old dead weight, then the next thing you have to do, the second step, is only then can you really begin to address what has been essentially fraud upon the people of the state of Illinois with our budget. We can, as a legislature, begin to give some teeth to Article 8 of our Constitution, which, to many people's surprise, is a balanced budget provision. Right. But as some of your watchers may know, both the legislature as well as the executive, for decades really, have interpreted that to allow borrowed funds. It is absolutely fraud to take a balanced budget provision and say that you can meet it and its requirements with borrowed funds. So we need to do that. We need to operate on a balanced budget. We need to, through attrition, we need to decrease the size of the state of Illinois' government. We can deliver the same services without any question with probably 3/4 to half of the people that we have now. I'm not saying to go fire people, but I'm saying that when people retire or quit, perhaps we need to redistribute their workloads and have the government get smaller.
And the truth is that in places like the Chicago, in the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, which was run as a tight ship by Terry O'Brien when he was president, they achieved a 30% reduction in workforce simply through attrition without firing a single person.
Absolutely.
And not missing a beat.
Absolutely. And 30% would be a great target. It would surprise me if we couldn't go deeper, but 30% would be a wonderful target. And what happens then, Avi, is that you have a smaller state government where you then can begin to look at protecting and strengthening public sector pensions. So if you have this bloated government with far too many people to deliver far too few services, it's folly to believe that you can really strengthen those public pensions, because there's too many people earning too much, retiring too young. But if you, through attrition, make the government smaller, then you can see your way to a solution.
No, that makes perfect sense. And the fact of the matter is, many of these people working those jobs' basic qualification is getting out votes on Election Day.
No comment, but I think we could deliver the same services with fewer people.
I don't think there's any question about it.
I think you're right.
So you're on the campaign trail. You're going to as many events as possible, I would assume?
I am going to as many events as possible, and I guess this is the best time for me to say that one of the biggest surprises of this campaign has been the absolute paucity of opportunities for the incumbent and me to talk to each other one-on-one, not on a forum where you get 3 to 5 minutes to talk, but our state's $200 billion in the hole. You would think that the incumbent and his challenger could be invited by some group, the League of Women Voters, neighborhood groups, civic groups, church groups, anything, to speak. That hasn't happened, and that's been one of the most eye-opening, unfortunate surprises of this whole campaign.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, to tell you the truth. I will tell you this, that I did know something about you coming in, and after talking to you, it's obvious that I will be endorsing you in Jewish Chicago. And, I want to wish you luck along those lines. We're running out of time, so why don't you give us your web information and contact information?
Sure. People can reach me at Jonathan, that's Jonathan, at Edelman, 4, Illinois.com. That's Edelman. Visit the website and send me an email. Any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Facebook also?
We're on Facebook, but I'd rather have people contact me through my website.
Very cool. So once again, the website?
The website is Edelman, 4, Illinois.com.
I want to wish you good luck in the election, which is already in progress. And remember to get out there and vote. And if you live in the 15th district, you ought to vote for Jonathan Edelman.
Please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.